Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast called Behind the Music, where I interview artists in the music industry. So, my guest is my really good friend from the school that I go to named Sofia Gomez, and she's a really talented artist. So she is a 19-year-old singer-songwriter based in Los Angeles who has been writing lyrically driven pop music since she was 11 years old. She has had the honor of performing on American Idol at the LA Times Festival of Books and the LA Memorial Coliseum, the Mint, and was a Young Arts finalist in 2023. Her music has amassed over 1 million streams across all platforms and has gained a substantial following on social media by posting originals and covers, several reaching over 1 million views. Okay, everyone, welcome Sofia Gomez. Okay, sorry, I thought about this applause. But anyways, thank you so much for doing my podcast. How are you today?
I'm good.
Okay. Okay. So the first question I'm gonna ask is, how did you first get into music? Like, how did that kind of start for you?
Okay. I started really young. I was in classes for ever, and the reason I got into classes is really funny. So basically, I was in pre-K, and I was always humming and singing, and my teacher noticed it, and so she went to the principal and was like, "What if we have her sing for our graduation?" So I sang the national anthem for my pre-K graduation in 3 different keys. It was so bad. It's okay. But I sang it. And everybody was like, "Wait, she's so cute. She's low-key good at this." I was 4, mind you, but whatever. Or 5. Whatever age you are when you're in pre-K. And so, yeah, I did that. And then they were like, "You should maybe put her into classes. Maybe this is something she'd enjoy." And so I started doing vocal lessons when I was 5. I started doing group vocal lessons. And then I eventually did one-on-one lessons. And I did so many different vocal teachers, but I did that. And then I started taking piano lessons at the state. It was a conservatory type thing. And so I did piano lessons there around 8, and I was just always kind of doing that. And I was taking lessons once a week for years. And then I told my parents that I wanted to do those shows. So America's Got Talent.
The singer shows.
Yeah. And so my parents signed me up for America's Got Talent. And I was so excited about it. And I got rejected so many times. But that's not the point. The point is that I was
that's not the point.
The point is I was interested in it. And my parents were realizing that it was something I was interested in. And so one of my vocal coaches at the time, she had a home studio and her husband was a producer. So she was like, "Oh, what if we have her come in and record a song?" So I recorded Fathers and Daughters by Michael Bolton, I think is the artist name. And then I recorded Hallelujah. And I loved it. I loved being in the studio. I mean, I was 11 maybe. And I 10, I don't remember how old I was, but I was young. And I remember really liking it. And I just kept doing lessons. I started taking guitar when I was 13. And then I did this Songwriters Institute thing at the University of Miami. I was in 8th grade. So at that point I was a little older, and I was still in lessons. I had taken taken vocals and guitar by then. And I was I want to do this a little more seriously. So I did that summer camp, intensive summer camp. It was early in the morning to late at night, and it was something that really changed my perspective on music, because I was oh, this is something I really like. So we did we learned a little bit about the industry. We did a little bit of music production. It was the first time I was I was showing what a DAW was. I think I used GarageBand, but and then it was songwriter intensive. So I was the first time I had been writing at that point. I started writing songs when I was 11, they're not that good if you look back at them. But they're songs. Like the songs, they have a hook, they have a melody, they have chords. Like it's a song. It's not great, but it's a song. And so at that point, I'd already been writing, and so this was like the first time that I was writing with people. I don't know. I really enjoyed the environment and like just making music. So I was doing the summer camp, and then after I realized that I really liked like writing with other people and like just produce like writing in general, not producing, writing in general, and like I realized that like I like this recording process and like this production process. Although I never really got into production, I just kind of learned how to use a DAW and like would record vocals and like piano, which will come in handy later on in my story. But yeah, and so going into like freshman year of high school and then like that like 8th grade, like I started posting covers. Don't go looking for them. They're not good. But they exist on like YouTube and like TikTok and stuff. I like archived all the old Instagram ones. I was like a little
real.
But the ones on TikTok and YouTube, I believe, are still there. And I was like, wait, I want to be like those like YouTube singers that are like posting covers. And so my dad would go with me at like 5 a.m. to go get the sunrise and like record like Coldplay, like Yellow, while I was like singing from something that I had like recorded. Like I would just like record vocals and piano and then like do like a lip sync like super cool like video. It's not cool, but you know what I mean. And I just like started doing that and like posting on YouTube and then posting covers on Instagram. Like yeah, freshman and like sophomore year. And then I was 14. I was 14. So I don't know if I was probably a freshman, maybe. I was probably a freshman. And I was like contacted by this American Idol executive producer. And she was like,
oh yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
Carry on.
You're like, wait, that's like
yeah, carry on.
So I've been posting like covers for a little bit, and she was like, "Oh hey," was like sliding into my DMs. She was like, "I like found your cover, and I think you have a beautiful voice. Would you like to like get an audition for American Idol?" I thought that she was like kidding. I thought she was a scammer. I didn't believe her. Yeah, because you get so many like things that are just like scams, and you're just like, this isn't real. You're just
like
trying to get
right.
And so I was like, oh, yeah, whatever. And then I like started like her account, and I was like, wait, this is like legit. Like she had like pictures of the contestants, and like it was actually legit. And I was like, oh shoot. So I said yes, and this was like COVID time, by the way. So like they didn't have like in-person auditions. It was all like Zoom. So I did that. I did like the Zoom executive producer thing audition, and they liked me. They wanted me back, and then I was on the show, and yeah, they flew me out to Ojai, which is where they had my auditions, and then I did like the like live TV audition with like Lionel Richie, Luke Bryan, and Katy Perry.
No way!
Hey, my golden ticket's on my wall. Hold up. She's there.
Wait, that's so cool. No way.
I got a golden ticket. And
wait, did they do the whole thing where it was like, oh, you're going to Hollywood? And yes, you got to like be like, yeah. They did. That's so awesome.
It was fire. It was really surreal because I watched the show, and you know, it was very surreal. And I mean, I was the youngest. I was like 15, and which is like the cutoff. It's like the beginning age for contestants. So I was really young and I was really nervous, but they got me through. And then I got cut that first round of Hollywood Week. I was probably so nervous, but it was like at the Dolby Theater. Like it was so cool. And then at that point, it was only like 30 minors. So, and then everybody else were adults. I think we were like 170 contestants, and then 30 of us were minors. So I was like doing school at the same time. It was kind of funny.
Oh.
I was like taking like they would like, put us in like they would put all the minors in a room, and we would like do homework, and then they'd be like, okay, come to your interview, and I'm in the middle of my quiz.
The quiz.
No, yeah, I remember taking math quizzes, but anyways, because I was gone for like 2 weeks, but yeah, and so I did that, and because I was the youngest, it was like I was always like a little bit in my head, like, oh my god, everybody's like 20 years old, and they're like have more experience than me. But because I was the youngest, I was able to learn like so much about everybody else's art because they obviously had so much more experience than I did. And like even though I got cut really quickly, like I was only able to do 2 performances on Idol, and it never got aired. Like you can't find it on YouTube or anything because we're so many contestants at that point. Like we're 170. Like they can't show 170 people. You know, let
Oh,
alone
I see.
thousands of people that auditioned for like the celebrity judges. You know, so like
Right.
they'll show your audition, like later on, or if you have like a really good story. You know, but yeah, and so, but even though it was like a short-lived experience in a sense, like it was what like changed my perspective on like, okay, I'm doing this, like actually going for it. And so I like went home, I started doing a couple more gigs. Like I actually started reaching out to like local venues and like local venues, I mean restaurants. I was performing at restaurants and like little shows and stuff. Just like acoustic, because I wasn't really like friends with instrumentalists, so I didn't really have a band. Like the first time I was playing with a band was at school. So I was mainly just doing like acoustic stuff, just me and a guitar, me and a piano, whatever. And then I decided, like, I had shown the producers my original music, and they were like, "Oh, like this is good. Like I can see you performing this." And so that was when I was like, "Okay, maybe like I'm not that bad at writing." So I decided that I was gonna record my song.
Not that bad, girl. You were like. Anyways.
And so I was like, okay, well, because people seem to like my music, I want to get a producer. So I was like, that was the whole like thing where I was like, the production will come in later on. I only knew how to record a vocal, record a piano, record a guitar, and like maybe do some MIDI stuff. But like that was it. It was bad. I wasn't gonna go that far into it. So I would just record my vocal and then record my guitar, piano, whatever I wrote the song on. I had like 4 or 5 songs that I had demos of, and which is just like a better version of a voice memo basically. And then I was like, I'm gonna send this out to producers. So I was just like cold emailing producers. And then I met one producer through my dad's work. Actually, my dad makes golf clubs, and the country club that he worked at, some family member of somebody who worked there was a mastering guy, and his name's Mike Fuller, and he did a lot of mastering for like artists in Miami. So he was like, "Oh, send me your demo, and I can send it to producers." So he did that. I sent him my demo. He sent it to producers, and then George Noriega was the producer that responded and was like, "Oh, I think this girl's really good. I'd love to work with her." So I did an artist development deal with him for a year, and I would just go to his home studio and record my songs. And that's where Field of Dreams, my first single, came out of. So I was like probably, I think it was junior or senior year. I don't remember how old I was. But like Field of Dreams, I wrote when I was 16 or 15. Like I don't remember when it was, but I wrote it young. And I didn't get to recording it till like a year later, and I didn't release it till like another year later. So even though it came out in 2023, it was definitely written in like 2021. Like I don't remember when it was. I don't know what the exact dates are, but like my point is like it took a while for me to actually get to the studio and record my songs. And so they're a lot older than they seem. But like Field of Dreams feels like I wrote it so long ago, because even though it was just released like 2 years ago,
yeah.
it like a while before that, but that's where Field of Dreams came from. And then I started working on Numb, my second single, with him, and then ended up finishing it with his like assistant producer, who also ended up who was Diew Contento. He finished the song, and then I did 159 Days with him over the summer. And that was like summer going into college. So
I see.
Where we are now. But those 2 producers were kind of like who I was working with when I was in Miami, and like had finally gotten contacts to producers, and so they did my first 3 songs. And then I came here and met a bunch of other writers and producers and started releasing my own music last year. But that is the story. that
is so awesome. Wait, I loved that so much. That leads me to my other questions I was going to ask about, like your songs 159 Days and then Numb and stuff like that, because those, like, and Field of Dreams, they've gotten a lot of streams, and I just wanted to know, like, what was, like, when you saw, like, how many, like, people were listening to the song, like, what was that like? And then also, like, just the process of writing them, like, was it like an experience, or was there like an artist that influenced you and you're like, oh, I can kind of see myself in their songs? Like, Just more about that.
Sure. Well, Field of Dreams was my first single. How did I write it? That song actually had a lot of different versions before I finally ended up having that one. Like I remember wanting to write because okay, I was like 16. I'd never been in a relationship. I mean, I didn't get into my first relationship till I got here and was like 18. And everybody was like, "Wait, what? Like you've never dated anybody? Like you're 18." Like
Why is that question always asked?
I know. I'm like, "No, I have never dated anybody. Let me be." And it was kind of like, like I would see people and I'd be like, "Oh, like it'd be so nice to have like, another person." Like in high school, like all my friends were dating and I was like, oh, like it'd be so nice to have a boyfriend. And so, like that was kind of where it was. I always wanted to write a song about finding love because I feel like there are a lot of love songs about falling in love and heartbreak, but there weren't enough about like wanting to be in love, I think. And so definitely a lot less of a topic. So I always want to write it. I wrote like a couple different versions and there's like voice memos of it somewhere. Like I have close to like 2.5K voice memos in my phone. But it went through different versions and it was just kind of sitting in my notes app. So one day I like went back to it and revised it, which is like the song that ended up being out. And so that one was based on like my life. And while I was looking for once I had the song and like I'd worked on it with a producer, I like did have references. I remember one of my references for Field of Dreams was Wonder by Shawn Mendes. I loved how
really?
big that like songs sounded and like the live drums and the fills and stuff. Like I remember that was something that I had as a reference. Yeah.
Yeah, that song's awesome. I love that song.
Yeah, that song's fire. But yeah, I remember that was a reference. I don't remember anything else, but I do remember like because it was my first artist project, I had Grace Wong, who was one of my really close friends from high school. She now goes to NYU and studies film, but I had her come in and do like BTS pictures, and I had her do she did the music video for it, and then she also did like a BTS like behind the scenes mini documentary thing, which was cool. So I had her come in.
No way.
And it's on my YouTube channel. And I did that with her. And so it was cool because we were able to catch some of the process of it. It was also the first time that I was in a studio. So I learned a lot and I was definitely shy at first. And I kind of have, and I still am learning, but I've learned along the years, like how to tell a producer what I want out of a song. And especially like now in school, I have so much more vocabulary that I'm able to say like, I want the drums to sound like this, or I want the guitar to do this or whatever. And I'm much better at writing parts. But when I was younger, like it was definitely more of the producer arranging. And then I would like have ideas here and there. Like, I like that. I don't like that. Like, I think I've always known what I like and don't like. I think as I have been making more music, I've kind of found like the specific things that I want and just been like more specific with like the detail of like making the song and whatnot. But yeah, and so once we added the song and I like had like the photo shoots and the art cover and like the music video and the behind the scenes, like all these extra things, I was looking into how I was going to promote it and release it and distribute it. And so around then was when I upload all my music with DistroKid. I still do. And I like basically did all the distribution and stuff. And I was like, how am I going to market this? So I remember like asking a couple people, and I remember talking to somebody and she was like, like it's your first song, like it's not gonna do good. Like you'll be lucky if your parents like, only listen to it. And I was like,
someone said that to you?
Yeah. I mean, she's not wrong. She's not wrong, but like I was like, okay.
Well, low-key, kind of like she low-key is wrong. Like that did well. Like Field of Dreams did so well.
Well, it was funny because like I was like, yeah, you're right. And I was like, like, I don't know. So I ended up just posting it on social media, on like TikTok over and over again. And it got like 500,000 views. And I was like, oh,
yeah. So,
and so
like what now?
And I was like, oh, and it was kind of crazy because it was my first song. Like usually like you're like lucky if you get a couple thousand on your first song, So
right.
Like I think I don't know what the streams are on it right now. It's probably around like 200,000. I know 159 Days has more. It's like my most streamed song. But like that one, it was definitely a big deal for me because it was my first song, and it definitely like pushed me in a way to be like, oh, people like this. I'm gonna keep recording more music and whatever. And so that was definitely interesting. And also like people were making videos with my music, like and like somebody did a cover of it, and I was like, wait, this is kind of
Oh,
crazy. And so it was cool to like see that, and it helped like my social media grow, of course, and like also like this all of like the post American Idol also helped like my socials grow and like was able to meet people through that. Um, and then I also worked on Diew Contento. That one didn't do as good, but it was fun because it was like not the pop ballad that I'm used to writing. So that was
yeah,
cool.
and I thought the music video for that song was awesome. Like that was
Thank
so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I loved making that music video. Brandon was his name, and Silverio, he did the music video, and he was awesome. I loved his like the way he filmed it and all of his like creative liberties that he took with it. I definitely like as an artist, I have like a certain vision for my music videos. So like for Field of Dreams and for like both of these, I made like a Pinterest board with like references. I had like a color scheme I wanted to follow. I like I I like also like organized like my stylistic things and like what I was gonna wear and like makeup and hair and like all these things. And I would like go into meetings with the producers and whoever cinematographers and like would be like, hey, like this is the vision I have, this is like the storyline I have, and like obviously um open to getting like any feedback or any ideas from anyone else. But I feel that the songs that I have a vision for are usually the ones that come out because I'm like, oh, this means a lot to me, and I have a lot more than just a song for me to like share with people. And so Field of Dreams
Sure.
and Numb is definitely like that kind of thing. Like 159 Days too. Like I had an idea what I wanted the music video to look like. And so that one I worked with Wyatt, and he was actually somebody I met at Young Arts, which was cool. He did the music video, and then um, I also had like a Pinterest board and like things that I wanted to do, and like same thing with the art cover and like a color scheme and everything. So I also enjoy that creative aspect of it. Like I was in art lessons for like ever. I took like art from when I was like 5 till I was like 13. So I feel like that definitely helped develop my like artistic eye, like in like the visual arts. And so I feel like my music and the visual arts for me go hand in hand. Like I also have like even like if I'm making like a poster, like I want it to have a specific like feel and like specific things that I want. Um,
Right.
so I think it goes hand in hand. And I also enjoy that part so much.
Wait, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that so much.
thank you.
Okay, well, now the next thing that I wanted to ask is I know you told me about like a lot of the community service events that you did in high school, which
Oh,
I
sure.
thought was really awesome, and I wanted to have you expand on that because that sounded so cool about what you did.
Yeah, I was always really involved in high school. Like I was like president of like my National Honor Society, and like the French Honor Society, and I loved like that side of
Bye.
it. It was so funny. I was a yeah. Hey, I love it. I love it. Sorry for the outside noise. It's probably
No worries.
I live on Fig. It happens. But anyways, I did like art and music therapy with like disabled adults, and
Yeah.
I I mean I love sharing my music with people. It was really nice. Like we did there was like an end of the year like talent or not end of the year, it was summer camp, but it was like a talent show. So I like performed with one of them, and it was really cute, and like I did a lot of like art events with it was like a daycare that was like right next door. So it was like with elementary school kids. So like I would come in and we would do like little like Santa arts and crafts because I also did that during the year. Um which was really cute. And then one of my bigger things I did was a benefit concert. It was like a
Yeah.
little project I wanted to do. And so throughout high school, like I mentioned, like I was president of like the French and the National Honor Society. I was like hosting drives for Colombia, which is like where my family's from. And so by the end of my 4 years in high school, I probably donated like 4,000 items, which included like clothes, like school supplies, um, toys, board games, and it all went to. It's like kind of like a homeless shelter for kids, and I met the reason why I ended up helping them was because I met one of the students there, and he was like really interested in music. And they were like, oh, like maybe, I mean, like where I come from, I mean, not where I come from, my parents come from is like a very small town, so everybody kind of knows everybody. So like they knew that I was really interested in the arts, and they're like, oh, maybe like they're telling my mom, like maybe bring your daughter and like she can like teach him a couple stuff. And so I went there and like taught one of the kids piano, and he loved it, and he ended up like using that keyboard all the time. Like I would hear from the shelter that he would always like ask for the key to go play the keyboard in the office. And so it was very sweet. I don't know, like a place like Columbia, like you definitely take things for granted, like everything we have here. Like in my school, we would just have like a closet full of supplies for like when my teacher would run out of stuff. Like they did it, and it was like I wanted to help, and so I did like drives that I ended up shipping, and my like final thing was making a benefit concert. And so I like organized all of it, from like hiring the DJ to the performers, getting the sound. We did like an auction, then we had like a donation box at the event, and it was in tandem with the First Tee of Miami, who they're like a golf organization. And so we did it at their country club, which is where my dad works. And so we did the show there, and we had a bunch of people come over and support, and we were able to get a lot of items out to Columbia. Sorry. And then also, a lot of people also signed up for the First Tee of Miami, which was really cute, because it was also like that's another nonprofit that I worked with forever. Like I volunteered at all their events and fundraisers and tournaments and such, and so it was definitely like a more like a family event, I would say. And a lot of people showed, and it was cute to see people support, especially like people from like my parents' hometown. And like I may not have grown up there, but it's definitely a part of my life. Like I grew up visiting every year, and so I was glad to help in some way. So yeah, that's what I did in high school.
Wait, I love that. Wait, for the concert, was it like multiple people performing?
Yeah, or so like, I performed, and then I had 2 more local artists perform. It was like
so cool.
Thing. So it was really cute. Everybody really enjoyed it, and it was nice to see like everybody come together for a cause, you know.
Yeah,
that was really nice.
That's awesome. That's like a lot of like planning to like plan a whole like concert and stuff. That's actually so awesome. Like that's so cool.
Thank you.
And now like I know that you're also like you're president of the Women in Music Club here at USC. So you're continuing this, like explain like how that came about.
Yeah. So I joined Women in Music my freshman year, and I didn't really do much at the beginning because I was like just trying to get a hold of what college was like. And then once I kind of got like my footing, I was like, okay, like I want to explore this a little more. And so I always felt like women need more representation in entertainment, and like a support system. Like a lot of things is so male dominated, and like there's a lot of things that like, oh, you go into a studio and like people don't really want to pay attention to you just because you're a girl, and you're like, I have more to say. You know what I mean? And I like there's not that many female producers. Like when I was looking for people to produce my music, a lot of them were men. If not all of the people I met, a lot of the people that I worked with that were managers, that were like working in PR and in marketing, like they were all men. And I was like, where are my women? Where are my females
like,
in music?
Where y'all at?
Where y'all at? And it's just it's so like sad, I think. And I joined Women in Music because I wanted to meet other female creatives and wanted to meet, you know, people who understood the same thing that like we go through as women in music, and like I don't know, support each other, like give each other more like projects to work on, and just like create this like network where people are helping each other. And so I wanted to become more involved, which is why I ended up applying for president. And the whole thing that we want to do is like just have a network for women to share their projects and collaborate so that we can like just grow together, I guess. And so our idea is to hold shows, and we're starting actually in February, like host like vision board nights and like cute little like girly events, like, oh, come watch a movie, we're gonna have like cookies and like have fun, you know, to meet other people in the industry and other women, and also just have fun and connect with other girls who are working towards the same thing. And then also like having like we want to have panels eventually and like speakers, workshops, shows that people can perform at, and like have it like be like all female headliners, like something that's like supporting women in an industry that is very male dominated. So, and plus, I mean, like obviously, like slowly there has been a lot more of like women like spotlighted in the field, but I think we can keep growing that. So, yeah,
Sure. That's awesome.
I'm excited.
Wait, I'm low key. I want to join the club. Like, I actually want to. Like, I was really thinking about that. Like, I think that club, like, especially now that you've like talked about like the events and all the even the cute like vision board and stuff like that. Like, that sounds so awesome. Like, actually,
Yeah.
what days does it meet?
I don't know yet. We're trying to figure out right now, actually.
Period.
But I can give you our Instagram. I can do a little plug.
Yeah, give the Instagram and I will edit it on the screen.
Wait, yeah.
So if you go to USC and you're watching this, this is the Instagram for the Women in Music Club.
Women in Music.
Yes, follow the account.
Yeah.
Wait, I love that so much.
We're still figuring out what day just so that it works out the best with everybody, and we have to like still like lock in a place to hold meetings at. But we'll be starting in February. I'm excited.
Awesome. Would you say that like your experience at USC has been like what like you wanted to get out of this school? Like, would you say that like
sure.
especially with the pop program, right? Like it's a good program, right? Like
it's crazy. I mean, like I don't know. I look at like the songs I released, for example, like 159 Days and 159 Days I released during school, but I recorded over the summer. So I just kind of had it. And I remember that was the first song. Well, it was my best song, like that did like numbers wise. Like I think it's like at 600,000 streams right now, which is kind of
crazy.
Insane. I don't remember what the number is, but like I remember posting that, and it was getting like 1 million views every time on Instagram Reels, and I was like, "What is going on?" And I remember
I
like
saw that because I follow you obviously, and like. Every single time I saw your post, I was like, oh my gosh, it has so many likes. Kind
of crazy. But the reason I bring it up with this question is because I remember it was like the first release party I had here at school. And outside of like how it was doing like well, like outside of like my friends, like people were enjoying the song. It was like, I remember like all the people that like somehow got up into my apartment and we were celebrating my release. And it was just so nice to have that support from everybody in the program, and I think it says a lot. Like I did another release for Voodoo Doll and another release for Funny Feelings, and like everybody was so supportive, and I think that says a lot about our cohort and the program that we're in, that everybody wants to go to each other's shows and support each other's releases and like repost and this and that. But outside of like the community, like I generally do feel that my friends here are going to be the friends for like the rest of my life and like the collaborators for the rest of my life. Like I feel like I know that for a fact. But outside of just like the community that a program like the pop program creates, because we're so small, like such a small program, outside of that, I've learned just so much. Like I did not know what the difference between a snare and a tom was. You know what I mean?
Real.
And like I was really bad at theory. I barely knew anything about theory, and now I like understand why songs work and like what I'm doing when I'm writing. And like I'm actually like, if somebody were to be like, hey, I need you to write a song like Billie Eilish, I can listen to Billie's thing and be like, oh, like this is what she's doing. And like whether or not she does it subconsciously or on purpose, like you can definitely like figure out what an artist does with the things that we've learned, and like kind of be able to like recreate it for somebody else, or be able to take that reference and like work for somebody else's music. Like I think the program has made me a more versatile artist and writer. And so I definitely have grown a lot from this program. And I mean, also like the fact that we're writing a song every week strengthens my songwriting skills. The fact that I'm getting on stage every week has strengthened my performing skills. Like I've never really had like stage fright, but I would get like nervous, like really, I mean, I still get nervous on stage, but before I'd get like my voice to get really shaky and I couldn't control it. And I'm can you stop? Like I'm performing and sing. And I was scared that like it was just going to be a forever thing and I could never perform. And then like I got here, and like suddenly I learned how to control my nerves and like be able to like tell a story on stage and like all these things. And like that is something I have school to thank for, you know.
Yeah,
Plus,
definitely.
I like a lot of the music that we're learning. Haven't really listened to, and so I've been exposed to like a lot more genres too. And I'm like realizing like, oh, I really like this sound. I can use this guitar tone in my song or whatever. You know what I mean? I definitely feel that all the music that we're learning is gonna help it will help, and it has already started helping my artistry now and in the long run.
No, I so agree with that. There's like, I really think this program is really like expanding my music taste because I'm listening to songs that I never would have like listened to before. Not because I didn't like them, but I just wasn't really aware of them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I just have one last question, and it's, do you have any upcoming projects that you can talk about, or are you working on anything that we should be like keeping our eyes peeled for? Like any music coming out?
I don't have anything coming out like soon, but I am starting to get into the studio to work on my music, and I really, really want to record over the summer. So there will be music soon. I'm playing a show February 13th. I don't know when this podcast.
Oh, really?
I'm playing. It's like a Valentine's show thing that I'm playing February 13th. So if anybody wants to come out and enjoy my show, and I'll hopefully have more shows. I know Women in Music is hosting a show, and yeah, I really do hope to continue getting into the studio and releasing my music. But if I do ever have an announcement on a specific date for my song, it'll be on my Instagram, Sofia Gomez _music.
Yay!
Okay.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for doing my. Wait, where's the applause? Oh, okay. Thank you so much for coming on my podcast. Like, thank you.
I love you.
Yes, I literally love you so much. Okay. Yes. Okay, thank you.